Hi everybody, it's Joe Donovan with you again, the Grand Seiko guy. I thought we'd do another unboxing taking advantage of this set, which has just been purchased by a collector and will be winging its way somewhere in Asia later on this month. But before it goes, I hadn't done an unboxing of this one before, so I thought it might be worth sharing with you. This is the outer box. The watch inside is the Grand Seiko 57229990. That's from the 57 series, and this is this actually came from my original collection before I started trading, and I was just collecting. And this is actually the only example of a pretty much full set, or certainly with box and papers, second series Grand Seiko that I have seen on the market in the last 5 years. I do know of a collector in Japan who has an example of this as well, but these do not come up very often. So. Grab the opportunity to do the unboxing video. Right, as with the Grand Seiko first, there is an outer box in red and black with gold writing, but here it actually says Seiko chronometer. Doesn't say Grand Seiko on it. I believe this same box was also used for the liner chronometer as well. And so that's the lid of the outer box. And remarkably still surviving, as with our examples of the Grand Seiko first box sets, is the protective sort of rice paper that separates the inner box from the outer box. Just remarkable that this very delicate piece of paper has survived this long. I'll put the inner box aside because we're going to go through the paperwork first, and what I'm actually going to do is just move this as well, otherwise it might fly away. In terms of the paperwork that comes with this set, there's 3 bits of paper. The most interesting one, I guess, being the rating certificate. So we can see that this watch was tested over a period of 15 days, and obviously all hand-filled, and there we can see the date of the inspection of September the 1st, 1965, and the summary of the results at the bottom. This has a certificate number and the movement number on it, but it does not have the case number of the watch. So to check that you have the right certificate for the right watch, obviously you have to actually take the back of the watch off to check, but this is the correct one. Very delicate folds on this, and there's the inspection standard for watch chronometer, which then later became the Grand Seiko standard, or was adjusted to the Grand Seiko standard, is on the back. And that's the rating certificate, which is a fantastic piece of paper. And then we have two booklets. First one, Seiko chronometer, Grand Seiko 35 joules, and this is interestingly both in English and in Japanese, and it explains what the superior class of chronometer is, telling you how to set the date, and adjusting the time and setting the second hand, because obviously this hacks. And then there's some special instructions for waterproof watches there. So that's the first little manual, and the second one actually talks in detail about what it takes to become a Seiko chronometer, and goes through the standards there, what the inspection standards are, and some more explanation. So there you go. So whenever you see one of these come out, they should have the 2 manuals, one which is the watch manual and the second one which is explaining the chronometer certification, and of course the test certificate as well. Let's bring the inner box back. It's similar design to the box for the Grand Seiko first, but it does only say Seiko on it. It doesn't say Grand Seiko, and the dimensions of the box are slightly different as well. And when we open the box up, we'll just put the watch to one side for the moment, and there we can see that the inside of the box is again different to that which we saw on the Grand Seiko. It just says Seiko chronometer, and then the usual text, the wrist chronometer of supreme quality in accordance with the international standard. When you get these boxes, there should obviously always be an inner tray that the watch attaches to, or is secured to. sometimes, I mean, these boxes are very rare. They don't come up very often. Occasionally you see them for sale on their own, and sometimes it's in a tray is missing. So if you're ever in the market for one of these or see the box come up, then do make sure it does have that in a tray. Okay, so that's the inner box. We'll put that to that side. And then one more thing before we have a look at the watch. This isn't the original strap, but it is the original buckle. So although this strap is a little bit old, I don't think it's the original strap. No, it's not. But that is the original buckle, which has tarnished somewhat over the years. At the moment, this is separate to the watch. We've just got a generic strap with a quick release spring bar strap on the watch. So there's the original buckle. It just says Seiko. And then finally the watch itself. It's in focus. Maybe actually let's just zoom in a little bit so we can see it in a little bit more detail. Hopefully this will still focus on the watch. There we go. So this is a very nice example of this watch. We can see the case has still got all its nice crisp lines and edges. Extremely nice line medallion on the case back. It's the first two digits of the case serial number, which 56 indicate this was manufactured in June 1965. And there we go. This is the Grand Seiko self-data. So obviously at the time these were never really referred to by their series. This is a bit of a sort of, now we have the whole history of Grand Seiko and we can look back and there's an obvious classification of the watches into the 7 or 8 if we include the 19 GS, the ladies' watches, the 8 different series. So these are now obviously referred to as the 57 GS or 57 Grand Seiko. But obviously at the time that was not the case. This was simply called the Grand Seiko self-data. This has a 5722A movement running at 18,000 beats per hour or 5 hertz. One thing to point out on the crown, these early examples, there's actually 2 different crowns that you'll find on the 57 series. Certainly all of the 43999s. Let me just see if we can just get that back in focus. There we go. All of the first examples, the 43999s, should have this coarse nerve crown. And then between when the 57229990 came out, it started off with this coarse nerve crown. But you do find examples of these with finely nerved crowns as well. So that's something to look out for. My preference really is try to get the watch with how it came originally. I.e., when these were first produced, these would have had these coarse nerve crowns. But the part number for the coarse and the fine nerve crown is actually the same. So Seiko, at the time or shortly after these were all out, they did obviously consider the parts interchangeable. The other thing you will find with the 57 series is there's a right mess in terms of how the whether it's the crowns and then the dials and the case backs and the movements all get mixed up. So the movement series is the 430, which is in the 43999, then moving to the 5722A, and then moving to the 5722B. And then there are 3 different dials. This is the second type of dial, which really should only be seen on a 57229990 case back, and which should only have the 5722A movement inside. But there was clearly a lot of overlap in the production of these all around as they changed from one reference to the next as it was superseded. So don't be surprised if you ever see a 57229990 case back with a 430 movement inside. Those do exist. Similarly, you may see a 57229990 case back with the later non-chronometer dial, which we normally associate with the 57229991. I'm quite a bit of a purist on these, so I like my case back, crowns, and dials and movements all really to match up. But A lot of people aren't quite so particular on that. There's no hard and fast rule. So there you go, just a quick overview of the 57229990 and its box. And this, as I said, this will be going off to join a collection in Southeast Asia in a week or two. Okay, thanks for watching.